my God. Are you okay? Yeah.
KTM is the dawning of a new age. Period. Period. They changed everything. KTM basically did what the Japanese did all those years ago. No way, that's flat. That just feels weird as hell. They effectively raised the bar for the word motorcycle. You know, they came in and they didn't follow any of the standard principles. They truly innovated. It's like the hand of ingenuity itself just touched their team. And if you factor the research and development that went in to innovate these KTM bikes is unique. It's its own breed. So it did have some problems, of course. Some things worked, some things didn't. Let me get out of here fast. Some things worked and some things didn't. But there's no historically there's no pattern of unreliability. People just want to see Superman bleed. You know, they want to see him wince. They're betrothed to these Japanese bikes, as was I for my whole life. I've ridden all the Japanese bikes, love them. But they're betrothed to them, and here comes this dude, Superman, down on Earth, and he can beat up the toughest guy with no problem. Again, that's a controversial statement, but hear me out. Here's what happened. The Japanese, again, they were touched by the hand of ingenuity all those years ago, 30 years, whatever it is, 40 years, and they just came out with, you know, Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, and they just came out with these marvel inventions and just revolutionized and lifted the bar for the word motorcycle, and the world's been chasing them ever since, and no one's caught them. And so what happened in that time is the Japanese became just way too comfortable. And granted, they still innovated, they still added things and changed things, and most of the Japanese bikes that people would get mad at me making that statement for are phenomenal. The WR250 just comes to mind. Are you kidding me? What an incredible bike. But I'm not discrediting those bikes. I'm not saying they are subpar. What I'm saying is KTM did something superhuman. They took it to another level. They are lighter. They have more horsepower. In fact, no one can touch them on weight to horsepower ratio. It's insane. World-class suspension, and these bikes just go, and they have pretty much dominated. They've just operated supremely across the board of motorcycles, street, dirt, all of it. And you know, let's just take our niche, adventure touring. The pinnacle of what we all consider the pinnacle of that is Dakar. You know, that's like the guys. They're not weekend warriors. They're not people like me that live on a motorcycle and just drive around. I raise a little hell, but these guys, whole different category. If you've never watched Dakar, watch it. It'll blow your mind. These guys get on and they twist the throttle back and they go until they live or win. And KTM, it just so happens, it's not a coincidence, it's not luck. They've won Dakar 17 years in a row. 2001 to 2018, KTM has won. So that is the testimony. I don't care what people say or think or whatever. I care about the data, and man, that, and from a performance standpoint, I'm not saying KTM is the best bike for you, period. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when we talk about reliability and performance and history, you know, KTM doesn't have, you know, since the 70s or whatever, that length by which to claim they were reliable in that span. But they've got a pretty good span going now, and considering the rapid innovation to win Dakar 2001 2018 and have as few engineering flaws as they've had, I don't think it's fair to say that KTMs are unreliable. I just don't. And I would debate strongly with anybody by the evidence of Dakar that they are capable of producing the best motorcycle in the world that wins the biggest race every year. And so, you know, there's a lot of other factors. I understand that. But what I'm saying is nobody can take that from them. And here's the thing that I'll close out. The Japanese are brilliant engineers, touched by God, touched by the hand of ingenuity. And so I can't wait to see what they come up with. I can't. They have got to answer the call to the octagon from KTM. They've just got to. And if not, they're going to lose their seat. And they had that seat so long that they just don't think they can be moved from it. And if this is might piss some people off, and I don't mean to. That's not my goal. If the Tenere 700, Tenere, however you pronounce it, is the answer that we get to have shipped here to the U.S. in 2078 or whatever year they said it's coming, if that was their answer, it tells me two things. I don't think it was their answer, but if it was, it tells me two things. One, they are either blind to the fact, or they're just incredibly arrogant, resting under blankets of $1 million bills for having the best bikes forever. I feel like, really, right now, I feel like I hope they come up with something better, you know, because here's the problem. And I said this in a video a while back, a few months back. I said, when KTM absorbs all the expenses of their R&D for all these years and all these innovations that have created these marble bikes, they'll be able to lower the cost. And that's the other complaint. They're too expensive and they break down. Well, the breakdown thing is debunkable. And the price, it already happened. The 2019 KTM Enduro R's MSRP is $10,700. So the old excuse for not buying a better bike was, you know, it's too expensive. But KTM's not stupid. They're lowering their prices a little bit to make it more affordable. So when you start talking about the same price for, you know, a similar bike, I'm not saying that KTM just leaves everybody in the dust every time the throttle's full. But I'm saying, if you had a comparable bike at the same price that's, you know, 40, 50, 60, 100 pounds heavier with less horsepower, it'd just be foolish to buy it if people were buying for performance. So people buy it for taste and just love the ride, love a brand even. I don't mind people that just love their motorcycles for, just love BMW, yeah, BMW. That's fine. I'm talking about performance. So why would somebody buy it? And here's what I think is going to happen. This is a little soothsaying right here. 40 years from now, we'll all be riding KTMs, and when our grandkids come up on a different bike, we're going to be those staunch old KTM guys, because there's always going to be another giant, you know. I hope. It feels like that's the way, the cycle of it. You know, the Austrians were touched by the very hand of ingenuity and created a superhuman bike, a super bike, and they'll be debunked. You know, Tyson gets knocked out eventually. So right now, I think it's foolish to deny that KTM has single-handedly raised bar for the word motorcycle. And people argue, you know, Husqvarna started that, came up with it. Husqvarna did it. They may have done the technology, they have done whatever. I'm talking about today, Team Orange, their marketing, their business, the way their company was ran, the ingenuity, the quality of the product, the sensible business plan. That's what I'm talking about. They did it. They nailed it. They beat everybody. And you know, I wouldn't argue the street. I don't argue the street because I don't know the street. I just got to use them sometimes to get places. And for what I do, for what, if you're listening to this, for what we do, DAKAR. But that's the litmus. You know, that's the top rung. That's the number one card heavyweight champion. And 18 years old. I mean, come on. What else can we say? 18 freaking years. So, proof's in the pudding. Leave it in the comments. Man, I gotta be honest with you. I don't know anything, man. I'm just a feller. Love to ride motorcycles.